ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. We are still exploring the introduction. Introduction not really to Vivek Chudamani directly, but we talked about Viveka in the first class. And then what is that Viveka? It's an ability to separate, to discriminate, separate things from each other which are very, very intimately connected, seemingly at least. Where a physical separation is not possible, there Viveka has to happen only cognitively. There is no other way of doing it. And we saw that the separation really is, I take myself to be this person who is confined to a given body, mind, and sense complex. But there is a reality which is all-encompassing. And unless I recognize that all-encompassing reality, if I can recognize that all-encompassing reality, then that would be the Chudamani of Viveka. That would be, what is Chudamani? It's a crowning glory in a way, or the crown. So what is Viveka? That is Viveka. And then we saw that a human being especially needs something like this because a human being is unique in being one who has a total freedom, a freedom to judge himself or herself, at the same time, the freedom to be totally free. This is very unique to human being. A human being is one who has to make choices. We don't have a choice about making choices. Every day we have to make choices. Every minute we have to make choices. It may not look like I'm making a conscious choice because we have chosen so many times, it sometimes becomes mechanical also. Like I don't get up and really it doesn't look like I make a choice. I'll go to the bathroom and use the brush. Right? But does it mean I didn't make a choice? I did make a choice to brush my teeth first. So if you look, I'm saying at every instant, we are making a choice. And we said there should be a basis to make the choice. Because when you have to choose, what is the basis to make a choice? Today is Deepavali. For some people, it is Dhanteras, a special day. Lakshmi Pujanam has to happen, right? For some people, that would be a more important choice than coming to the class right now. Correct? It's a choice you have to make. Should I be involved with Deepavali or should I come to class? I actually forgot. Otherwise, I may have cancelled today's class. But I just didn't realize until now. But the fact is, you have to make a choice to be in class or to not be in class. To be in class with the video off or the video on. It's a choice. Okay? To listen with full attention or let the mobile ring. It's a choice. Each one of them is a choice. How do you make a choice? And there are choices to be made in multiple areas in one's life. It's not one. You have to make a choice. Do you want to work today or not? Today is what? Sunday, Swamiji. Why will we work? But sometimes if you work on a Sunday, you can get a day off. And maybe you will want a comp off another day in the week because festivals are there. So you can choose to work today, right? So if one chooses, what is the basis? So I make a choice, I'll work. If I make the choice, I cannot make the choice of saying I'll stay with the family today. They both they don't concur. They both cannot be concurrent. Correct. So I'm saying a choice I make in one with keeping one aspect of life in view will have a repercussion or a consequence for other aspects of life. It's not like you make a choice and doesn't affect other things. If you choose to spend time with family, you can't be at work that time, right? And if you choose to be in the class, you're neither with family nor with work. These are choices you're making, and every choice is a consequence. Every choice. So how do I make my choices? I want to shift my job. Which job should I take up now? I have three jobs I have in view. Which one should I take up? What's the basis? One which pays me more? One which is close to my house? One which will give me more free time, inner leisure? One which will make me a CEO very quickly? Which one do you want? Or should I start my own business? I'll be my own boss. Each choice has to have a reason. How do you choose? Should I get married or not? If I get married right now, work may suffer. Correct? All right, you're married. Should I have children or not? Choice. So many choices to make. What's the basis? If you have life itself has a goal, then all choices in life should align with that goal. And if there is no single choice for life, then I will ask you, is your life having no end? You just live to die? What's the purpose of life? Is there a purpose? Is there none? When we are young, we don't really care. Everything just seems to happen. But as you grow older, hopefully one wakes up and says, what have I done all these years? And what is there a purpose? Is there something I must do or I shouldn't do? If I have to make right choices, I must have a basis to choose. In this context, I introduced that we have means of knowledge to choose. What's the means of knowledge? Something by which you know something. What are the means of knowledge at our disposal? Predominantly the five senses: perception. Eyes for sight, ears for hearing, nose for smelling, tongue for tasting. These are the means of knowledge. And we have an ability to infer based on perceptual knowledge, anumana. These are the primary means of knowledge. But these don't tell me necessarily what should I do in life. They're all data reporters. You gather so much data, but what should I do? That they cannot tell me. Then you rely on people in the family who tell you, your friends. That's how we make a lot of choices. You ask people, hey, which school is good to go to study? You know, which job is a good job? Which city is a good city to live in? You see how many, if you Google it, anything, is Bangalore a good place to live? You will find hundreds of opinions, You will go, you will see Reddit. It will tell you all the choices, how many people have said what. This is how we choose. So now you ask a question, what should one do in one's life? Try. Even if there are answers, what's the basis for that answer? We want to be happy. We want to be comfortable. But what is happiness? Where does it come from? What's the basis? If I could choose one thing called happiness, I would choose it happily. But what I thought I chose as happiness turned out to be a very unhappy choice. Chose a job, which is, the campus best job you can get. It's the most highly ranked campus placement. You made your choice, and then what happens? You find that after a few days in the job, you're stressed out. There's no happiness there. There's only stress because you're told bottom 5% will be managed out. That's how we keep competitive. McKinsey Consulting, GE Consulting. You want to be there? Great jobs. They pay you well. But they tell you, if you happen to be in the bottom 5%, you will get managed out. How do you like that job now? You don't know. Who is in 5% bottom, you don't know. There is no absolute performance. There is only a relative performance. Where does it leave you? It's not easy, right? So I'm saying, how do you choose? What is happiness? How do you choose? You thought getting married will make you happy. You got married. You may have a very happy life, but you may not have a very happy life too. You don't know. If happiness were in the marriage, everybody should be happy with the marriage. It doesn't work that way. Yes, you are happy with your spouse, but your parents are unhappy. Why did you marry this person? Or your parents are happy, but your spouse says, what kind of parents have you got? I'm saying, whichever way you go, you find there is always trade-offs. How are you going to be happy? So unless you know the key to happiness, you can't choose happiness. So you can only choose that. You only know what tends to make you happy. And what tends to make you happy today may not make you happy tomorrow. So again, what is happiness? That is happiness. That is happiness, all right. But what makes you go hee hee? What brings about that smile on your face? I can say a lot of times when it brings about, but what is, because you smile when you get a chocolate. You smile when somebody smiles at you. Sometimes you will smile when somebody is angry with you. You can't smile because your goal was to get him angry. In a work situation, your goal is to get that fellow to lose his temper. You are the nice guy. You're very soft and very calm and collected. Who looks bad? The guy who lost his temper. By doing so, you scored marks. Will you smile internally or not when he gets angry at you? So I'm saying, what makes you smile, you don't know. But one thing you know, that whenever you smile, you are comfortable being yourself. Whenever you smile. Of course, not an artificial smile put up for sake of somebody, okay? Really smile. Whenever you really smile without contriving a smile, you're comfortable being yourself. Is that true or not? Now the question is, what makes you comfortable? Situations bring out the comfortable you, or situations are the ones which make you comfortable. We think situations make me comfortable. Therefore, our whole life is what? Hunting for better situations. But the situations themselves do not have the capacity to make you happy, make you comfortable. Therefore, you have to understand what is the secret of happiness. What is it that makes me tick, makes me smile? If I understand that and I know I want to smile, then I can make right choices. Otherwise, how can I? So this whole thing is not very well understood. And we muddle through life. But if I want to be happy, I should have no rub against the world. I should be comfortable interacting with the world, with my world, whatever it consists of. And how do I live a life without a rub? How do I live a life of harmony? The means of knowledge I have don't seem sufficient to tell me what I can do. And even though I know certain things that will probably give me better situations, I don't know how to command them. So we spoke of Veda as a means of knowledge, an extra means of knowledge. And what does it tell you? It informs you of ends and means. It informs you of ends, which may be desirable, and means to gain the ends. Both the ends and means revealed by the Vedas are unknown to me. Okay? Only then Veda is a pramana for that. And you still have to choose whether you choose that end or not. That's your choice. Right? So you have ends and means, and not only that, it gives you a kind of, you can use these ends and means, but there's a certain basic way to live life. It gives you certain values that you must grow into. Like saying, you be honest, don't cheat, don't hurt, try not to hurt, not to cheat. And if you try to follow that value, it will have an impact on every choice you make. How to live a life free from conflict. That the Veda, those values the Veda gives you, right? And we spoke about what is the Vedic view of life. What is the Vedic view of life? All that is here is Ishvara. All that is here is Ishvara. What is Ishvara? We haven't really, I'm still in the process of exploring what is Ishvara. Okay? So what is all that is here is Ishvara, if we say, then what is that Ishvara? So last time we saw how Ishvara means all knowledge. How everything we know in the world is knowledge. And therefore, if all that is here is Ishvara, what should that Ishvara be? It should be all knowledge. Right? Every bit of knowledge is there in Ishvara, like, and we saw an illustration of it in the dream. In a dream, how you know everything is your knowledge? Let Ishvara be all knowledge. So what is in it for me? What's in it for me? If you understand all knowledge means there can be no error. Error is possible when my knowledge is incomplete. Right? So anytime I make a mistake and I say, oh, I made a mistake. Why would I make a mistake? Because there is something which I overlooked, something which I didn't know about. Very typical when you write a program. Any even a document you write. You write. An email I write. There will be two typos in it. Not that I don't know the spelling, lack of attention. Or sometimes a lack of attention to the language. You misplace words. You miss one word. Happens. You proofread a book. You proofread it 10 times, 11th time you will still find errors. Guaranteed. There is no such program called a bug-free program in software, okay? It's bug-free only until the bug is discovered. That's what we were told, when we started to work. There is no program which is bug-free because there will be a bug. It's just waiting to show its face to you. Until you find it is bug-free. This is how things are. Then what does all knowledge mean? All knowledge means there is no possibility of an error. Which means you may think something is not right, but that's how it is intended to be by the author. So if Ishvara is all knowledge and this whole universe is but an expression, but a manifestation of that all knowledge, then there is nothing defective in this universe. No, I think it is not a good design. This human being is poorly designed. No. The human being is also very well designed. Everything is well designed. Designed. How do you mean by it's well designed or not well designed? Suppose you want to work hard in the field, physical work. What is a good dress? Sari is a good dress to wear and work in the field. You have to think, right? Or you want to exercise better than that. You want to do yoga. What's a good dress? Sari or dhoti? Neither of them will work well, right? So when you say what is a good dress, you have to decide for what purpose and which place do you live in. You're in Chennai and you are asked to dress very well with a three-piece suit. How does it feel? Three-piece suit in Chennai in the middle of May. How will it feel? Very wonderful, right? It's the best dress you can wear. And then you go to New York and you dress like Chennai. How will that be in winter? That also won't work. So if you say something is perfect, it should take so many factors into consideration. And if a design has to be totally perfect, it has to keep all factors into consideration. As human beings, we have to make trade-offs. Bhagwan also has to make trade-offs. Well, but this is his creation. When he manifests, then everything is as it should be. So when we say all knowledge is Ishvara, we mean that everything in the universe is exactly as it should be. That's a huge implication. Everything in the universe is exactly as it should be, not as per what you think necessarily, not necessarily as I think, but as it should be. Why do you say that? Because all knowledge, Ishvara, is the creator, which means that the physical world is exactly as it should be. This is relatively easier to accept. Okay? My mental world is also exactly as it should be. This is hard. This is not easy to accept. But it is. That is how it is. And within the scheme of things, you have the ability to bring about certain changes. That's in your hand. But you cannot decide what it will be, the outcome will be. Within the scheme of things, you have a certain freedom to choose. That free will is given to us. That's where we began. Human beings' freedom. But you don't have a freedom to choose the outcome. You don't have the freedom to choose how you will feel necessarily. See, suppose you could choose your disposition. You could straight away choose to be happy. You don't need to do anything else, okay? Don't need to choose anything intermediary. Straight away you choose to be happy. Over. Well, life is over. Don't we choose? We try, but we end up being unhappy. So you can't choose to be unhappy. Can you choose to cry? Can you choose to be sad? Try. Be sad for a minute now. Just become sad. Can you choose to be angry? Come on, be angry. Half a minute, just get angry. Can you? If you can't get angry, don't you have anger? You're above anger? You've transcended anger? No, no. If you say yes, somebody will be there behind you telling, come on, we know. We know your anger. So your anger is very much there. But right now I request you to get angry, you don't get angry. Why? Because you can't choose to get angry. You can't choose to be happy. You can choose, but you're not successful necessarily. Do you choose to be happy or you find yourself happy? Do you choose to be angry or find yourself angry? Do you choose to be depressed ever? Or you find yourself depressed? What does it show? that you don't call all the shots, that things happen despite your wishes against to the contrary. So when we say all knowledge is Ishvara, it means what is Ishvara? It means your mind is also Ishvara. Your feelings are also Ishvara. Your thoughts are also Ishvara. How they're all exactly as they should be. Depending on how you have lived your life, your thought life is formed. Your value structure is formed. Your attitudes are formed. And your knowledge is, if I decide it should happen like this, that is not true. That is your erroneous knowledge. Therefore, to understand, appreciate Ishvara's all knowledge means to understand and appreciate that everything is okay as it is. But Swami, it's not okay. That's how you feel. And you have the freedom to bring about a change. But the first step is to say, all right, this is how it is. It's raining. What do? You see it's raining, you have to step out. What do? You take an umbrella or raincoat and walk out. You don't necessarily walk out abusing rain. If you do, that's your problem. Because rain doesn't stop just because you abused it. It's very hot, you dress appropriately. It's very cold, you dress appropriately. You're very hungry, you eat appropriately. You don't complain, I'm so hungry today, why I'm so hungry today. You just eat appropriately. Right? But somebody doesn't wish you. What do you do? What do you do? This fellow doesn't care for me. He doesn't wish me. What does he think? Who does he think he is? You know, I have done so much for him. He doesn't even say namaste to me today. What kind of a person is this? No gratitude. I'll teach him a lesson. All this happens where? In your head. Could happen. Why? Because you think that that is not okay. You feel guilty about something you don't want to feel guilty about. You feel guilty. What do? What do you do? Something happened 25 years ago. You feel guilty about it till today. How do you get over it? Fact is, you feel guilty. You can't wish it away. You feel hurt. Can't wish it away. These are all not things in your hand. Do you recognize that? Do we see that? A lot of our emotions are not, no emotion in fact is willed. Every emotion happens. Correct? And you choose situations, you try to adjust or tailor situations which will make out your friendly emotions to show up, don't we? So when I went for a trek to Uttarkashi, I felt good last time. Therefore, what should I do to feel happy again? Go for a trek, right? When I went to this particular restaurant to eat, I felt good. So what should I do? Plan another trip to the restaurant. Correct? So what do you try to do? Whichever situations made you happy, you try to replicate them. You try to create the same conditions again and again. But that doesn't mean that you will have exactly the same experience. Last time I went, this hotel was so good. I booked the same hotel this time. This time the service was very bad. Now what do? You learned that the hotel managements are not the same all the time. But the fact is, you don't know. Now you can get upset, or you can see that if you can recognize, how do I see Ishvara in this situation? How do I see Ishvara in a situation that somebody didn't greet me? How do I see Ishvara in a situation that the hotel didn't treat me right in my in my perception? First, I add a sentence, in my perception. Because what is and what I perceive are not necessarily in sync. right? What is a fact. What I see is my colored view of a fact. I look at it through my own lens. That is called subjectivity. That's called, prejudice. Mildly put, preference. I have preferences. Put it a little strongly, I have prejudice. We all have prejudice against certain things because of the way we grew up. You look at a certain dress, you're prejudiced against it. You look at certain hairstyle, you're prejudiced against it. You look at a certain community, you may be prejudiced against it. If India has a match with anybody and loses, it's okay. But if India has a match with one country and loses it, the whole country gets depressed. Why? Let the better team win. That's okay. But that team we shouldn't lose against. It doesn't take much. You're having a very nice conversation with the person, and that person, you ask him, where are you from? You're in a foreign country, okay? And you ask him, where are you from? He stays, I'm from PAK. You suddenly feel uncomfortable. You can feel uncomfortable. What changed? What changed is just that now you know that he comes from this country. Nothing wrong with the country, nothing wrong with the person, perhaps. But in my view, I have an image of that country and people from that country because that's the image shaped. Right? You have an image of what is Chinese people. Chinese people have an image of what you are. And now you know the war is all information warfare, more than warfare, because you have to manage information. What you say will make a difference. Were our planes shot down or not? You're very careful about how much you tell. Whether it's true or not is a different matter, but what you tell makes a difference, which means it is not what you see alone that matters, it's what you believe that matters. What you think is real that matters, which means your perception walked in. And everyone's perceptions are affected by their background. That's a fact. That's a fact. You can't wish it away. That is Ishvara. Fact is Ishvara. That if I have prejudice, I'll feel something differently is a fact. That is Ishvara. Recognizing Ishvara is to see that I may be prejudiced, I may be subjective, I may be wrong. And I first say, okay, this is a situation I accept without resisting. That is what is the implication of saying Ishvara is all knowledge. It's not ordinary. How do I appreciate all knowledge? You take one more step. Look at psychology. Psychology tells you that if you had a certain upbringing, a certain childhood, this is how you're likely to be as an adult. Tells you that. If you had parents who did not appreciate you as a child growing up, did not appreciate your accomplishments, did not give you a pat on the back, as a child, you were looking for a pat on the back. As an adult, also, you will be looking for a pat on the back. Therefore, if anybody is not appreciative of you, you remember, it's not that you remember, but it feels like you're a child. And you strive to get them to say you're good. Right? If your father was a person who was very strict with you, father or mother, and you are not comfortable with it, if you have a boss who is very strict, you won't be comfortable with it. Fact. Right? If you had a family where there was dysfunction because of alcohol, you don't know what's normal. Today, fathers Gives you a pat on the back, tomorrow he gives you a slap. Because he is not in his senses, but you don't know that. As a child, you grew up there. What happens to you? You don't know what is normal. Whole life you're struggling to understand what is normal. You don't know what is normal. Not because you were to blame, but that's the background you have. This is how your emotional makeup will be. These things, if you know, so what is now known, anybody with this background would feel exactly like as I do. This is the outcome of understanding Ishvara as all knowledge. Am I connecting it? Look, psychology is a field of knowledge. And what do they tell you? If you have alcoholic parents, this is how children are likely to be. Which means that it is not about me. It is about the house I was raised in, which makes a difference to how I feel. I am no longer to blame for the way I feel. I am not accountable entirely for the way I feel. If anybody was in my background, they would feel exactly the same way. This is a huge burden off your shoulder. And while we may not see everybody's situation, what is clear is this: the way you feel, your emotions are in order. There is nothing wrong with you, however you feel, and there is a scope to make things better. That is common. To accept oneself is to accept I'm in order. It doesn't mean I don't want to change. It just means I'm not wasting my energy fighting my perception of how I am or who I am. I'm freed up to pursue what will make it good, what will help me change. I'm validated in the light of understanding that this body, this mind, etc., is not my creation. Whose creation is this? Tell me, whose creation is this world? Is it my creation? Did you create the world? Did you create this body? Anybody? Did you create the mind? Did you create how the mind responds to situations? Did you decide how the body will grow up at what age? What do we decide? Suppose you entered a house, okay? Or a hotel, nice homestay, better word, homestay. You go to a nice homestay, beautiful house. You look out, Uttarakhand, very beautiful, hills all around. Do you believe you own the place? You may wish you owned the place, but you are paying 5,000 rupees a night, right? Now, you find yourself enjoying this body. It's not different from the homestay, okay? This body is also like a homestay. You're paid with some punya currency, you're here for a while. When the currency runs out, you have to vacate this homestay. That is called death. All right. Now, this homestay, you say, this is me, this is mine. Who gave you the rights? Who gave you the rights? Did you create the body? No. Can it be you? Can it be you? Okay. What is you? What is you? You means what? I means what? I has to be something which doesn't go away. Anything which comes and goes, anything that changes, anything that I can objectify cannot be I. Can it be? Can it be? Suppose I saw you coming. Can you be I? Anything that comes and goes cannot be I. Is this acceptable or not? Yeah. Okay. Did the body come? It came. In fact, it was in the coming for 9 months. Finally came. When did it become you? First day? First week? First trimester? Second trimester? After 9 months, it became you? How come it suddenly became you one fine morning? Are you the body? If I ask you to describe yourself, how will you describe yourself? Will you describe yourself based on thoughts arising on your mind, or otherwise? If you have to describe, how will you describe based on thoughts, right? Every thought is an arrival. Is that correct or not? Every single thought comes and goes. Correct? If you decide whatever comes and goes, what you see is you, you tell me, why should you not call yourself this pot? Why not? Because anything you see can be you. I see you, I am you. Does it work? Does it work that way? It doesn't. So, whatever you see, did you create it? Okay, creation itself we can divide into two ways, okay? Two parts. Ones which are human created, okay? And one which are not created by humans. Fair? Because certain things we think we created, right? Who created a temple? Oh, we built this great temple, Brihadishvara temple. Wonderful. Who gave you the stones to create this huge temple? Where did stones come from? Stones came from somewhere. Where did the mortar and bricks come from? Came from somewhere. No, no, I was the designer of this temple. Wonderful. You're a designer of the temple, or you're a great architect. Modern day architects are very important. They architect your house for you. Okay. The architect, I am the architect. Okay, good. Who is that I who is the architect? This you body, yes. Did you create the body? No. The brain, did you create it? No. The capacity to think, did you endow it with? No. Therefore, whatever you created with a human intellect is indirectly created by what is already given. The possibility that you can think is given. The possibility that you can act is given. The possibility that you can communicate is given. Speech is given. Sense of sight given. Sense of smell given. What are you really an author of? If all the, suppose I went to the hotel and I found, I landed up in an airport and somebody picked me up and took me and put me in a very beautiful accommodation. Who do I appreciate? The host. The host who gave me such a wonderful situation to be in. If you find yourself in a body which is functional, with air to breathe, with water to drink, with light to see, with sounds to hear, with organ of sounds to capture sounds, with sense organ called eye to capture light, with a sense organ called skin to capture a sense of touch. Sensation is given, sense organ is given, mind to process the sensations in the right sequence is given. What is your claim in it? All of this is given. Have we ever thought who is the giver? Or you take it for granted? Now you understand Ishvara. It's not just all knowledge. I said, what is Ishvara? How is what is Ishvara? It is both the maker and the material. Both the maker and the material is Ishvara. Which means that there is anything you see, you have to see more. Last time I had asked you, when you see the spot, what do you see? I see a pot. What else do you see? I see clay. What else do you see? I see light. What else do you see? Do you see Ishvara? How can I see Ishvara in that part? Because you have a concept of Ishvara in your head. And that concept, I'm not trying to invalidate it, but I'm just trying to enhance it. You may have a concept that one particular form is Ishvara. I don't want to dismantle that, but I want you to see That's a very limited view of Ishvara. There is no means of knowledge for you to know what is Ishvara. Therefore, the means of knowledge to know Ishvara is the Veda. And the Veda says what? Ishvara is jagat karanam, is the cause for the world. What is the world? What is the world? The world really, if you look at it, is fivefold. If you didn't have your five senses, what would the world be? If you don't have five senses, what would the world be? There would be no world. Correct? Therefore, these five senses and their objects constitute your world. Is that not true? From where did these five senses come from? Therefore, the Veda talks of a five-element model. A five-element model. Not that we don't know chemistry, okay? Swamiji, five elements. Come on, periodic table has so many hundreds of elements. What is five elements? Our elements are special. You cannot discover one more element ever. There is no sixth sense, okay? There are only five senses. Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Sparsha. All these are elements. Shabda. So these five are your world. And you know one thing. You cannot have a design where somebody created sound and somebody created ears. It's impossible. You cannot have a design where somebody created light and somebody creates eyes. Impossible. We should see that so clearly in the modern world. Nothing happens unless you have things matching. How could you have it so well matched? Unless it's the same source, same knowledge, which creates both. So Bhagavan in the Gita says very clearly, Ishvara talking as though through a body. What does he say? I am the cause of everything. Everything arises from me. Everything is sustained by me. Everything resolves into me. What remaining? Then where am I if everything is you? What do you claim as you? You tell me. Body? You tell me, is the body yours? Did you give it birth? Do you sustain it? Do you decide when it will drop off? Did you do the bioconversion of your body to earth or earth to your body? Which one did you do? It's all given. All right. Mind. Is the mind yours? That's also given. Senses, given. Ability to think, given. Capacity to do, not to do, given. What am I? Till I came to you, I thought I was somebody. Now I'm a nobody. No. If you keep giving up everything that you say, falsely claim as yours, you will arrive at the one which nobody can ever claim. And that one you will find ultimately happens to be, Ishvara will say, that is me. So we begin the journey in Vedanta of trying to understand realities. What is Ishvara? We want to understand. Because if you understand the cause, the effects are as well known. If you want to know the whole world of clay, the pots, the pans, you only have to know one thing, clay. If you want to understand the whole shop of a goldsmith, you need to only understand gold. Is there one thing by knowing which the whole universe can be understood? Answer, Veda says, yes, there is. What is that? That is Ishvara or Brahman. This Ishvara, Brahman, two words, confusion a lot of people have. We will deal with it later, okay? For now, you understand they're both one. All right? So, to know that one is what you have to do. But whatever is known, whatever can be known, what did we find? You cannot say it is me. And what do you know? Everything you know is what a thought brings you. And every thought comes and goes. Can you be any thought or its content? Basic point is what? Whatever comes and goes, and you are witnessing it come and go, you cannot be that. And every thought you witness, it doesn't matter what it is, religious thought, scientific thought, philosophical thought, it doesn't matter what thought. Any thought, you're a witness to. And your all your descriptions of the world and your problems is all in terms of your thoughts. I'm asking you, how can you say I am sad because you see sadness? How can you say I'm happy because you see happiness, a happy vritti, a happy thought? How? Even if you say I'm happy with that, that's a mistake. One day you will cry because that is not you. What can be separated from you is not you. If you want to be happy, it should be inseparable from you, which means you are not looking for happiness. You want to be the happy you. If you want to be the happy you cannot become the happy you. If you become, you can unbecome. So who are you first? That is what Ramana will ask you. Who are you? Who am I? You say, I have a problem. He says, who is the you who has a problem? Because anything you objectify is not you. Who are you? How much ever you try, you cannot objectify this you. Do you understand? Because you have only a thought to know anything. And every thought is a passing thing. It's objectified by you. Now, what is it that is never objectified? That is you. And that is Ishvara. What cannot be objectified is Ishvara. But everything that cannot be objectified is not Ishvara. That which cannot be objectified and that which is the cause of everything you objectify is Ishvara. Jagat Karana. How will I know that? Only cognitively. You will never bump into it. Why not? Because the bumper and the bumped are both one reality. If you bump into something, you know only half the reality, what you bumped into. Because your reality right now is only one thing, I and what I bumped against. What you bumped against is only one half of the problem. Fact is, both the bumped and the bumper come together. There is no seeing unless there is eyes and there is something to be seen. Close your eyes, seer and sight go together. Look at it. Feel it. See it yourself. You think you're a seer. Close your eyes. What happened to the seer? Seer went away. You remain. Imagine your ear you could close. You can't, okay? Suppose you could close your ears like your eyes, like a flap. Poof, closed. What would happen? Here would go away. Suppose you could switch off your mind. Mind would go away. What leaves? What remains? What cannot be switched off? That reality is really who you are. And to know that reality, if you know that reality, then what is there other than you? You have to know Ishvara. And knowing Ishvara is really possible only by being Ishvara. This is what Shastra has to say. It doesn't say, hey, you sinner, you have tasted an apple in the Garden of Eden and you have sinned, and somebody died for your sins. It doesn't say that. What does it tell you? It tells you you are the whole. This is the vision of the Veda. And to understand that vision is to be in sync, in harmony with that vision. This is what I said in the beginning. How to make your choices? The choices must be in harmony with what the Veda has to say. You have to be in harmony with what is. What is Ishvara. That is how the goal of life is presented. I mean, not presented directly, but that is what it amounts to. Because you're happy when you're in harmony. When you're in disharmony, you're unhappy. And being in harmony means being alive to realities. Not that you think you are in harmony. That is only a dream. Just because you think you're in harmony, if you're not, it will show up sooner or later. Therefore, to be in harmony with Ishvara, I have to recognize what Ishvara is. And that knowledge of Ishvara cannot be gained by your senses, by your mind, just like that, like objectifying something else. That Ishvara has to be revealed. By whom? By Ishvara himself. Ishvara alone can introduce himself because there is only Ishvara. What is Ishvara. Your body is Ishvara, your mind is Ishvara, the world you objectify is Ishvara. Then who should reveal Ishvara? Ishvara has to reveal Ishvara. Self-introduction. That is what Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan does in the Bhagavad Gita. He introduced himself. But this is all Samaji too much. We can't understand. Correct. So we begin with one thing. There is a cause for everything in the universe. Do you accept? Because a human being cannot accept anything which is not in keeping with his reasoning, whatever reasoning we have. Right? And the reasoning being given right now is, Ishvara, I'm saying, before going to Ishvara, I'm saying, everything has a cause. Do you accept or not? If you say there is no cause, then we should close down all research institutions. No science is required. So I'm talking to some old person who has a great Shraddha in Ishvara, an older person. And the person says, I ask, what is the cause of this pot? It's clay, very clear. What is the cause of clay? Earth. What is the cause of earth? There is no cause. Earth is always there. Is that true? Or is it not true? Is the earth always there or not there? Earth has a long history. There are petroleum deposits. There are fossils, billions of years old. But does it mean the earth was always there? What does science tell you today? The earth also was born. Is the sun always there? Of course it was always there. No, it also was born. This is where science helps because you now are able to accept a cause for the entire physical world. You listen to cosmology from science way and you know that there is something called a Big Bang theory which explains the universe. And they're looking at stars, looking at, exploding stars, looking at stars which are being born and through which they're trying to infer how the sun would have been born or any star is born. Light years away. But you are able to come to inferences. But what does it show you? That the sun also is a star, and somebody will tell you in so many billions of years, the sun will burn itself out. Then what will happen? What will happen to us? And to us, nothing will happen because we are not going to live that long. But the earth and life on earth will end, has to end. So if somebody says earth is forever, that is because of a lack of understanding of realities. Veda did not lack that. It talks of cycles of creation. Every creation comes to an end. Right? So this whole setup is Veda is all-knowing because it is what came out, emanated from an all-knowing Ishvara. Don't think of Ishvara as a person sitting somewhere. If Ishvara is a person sitting somewhere, he gets localized. You objectify him, he objectifies you. He is an object for you. You imagine this, okay? A person is doing a lot of prayer, for something, and Ishvara comes in the given form and stands and says, "All right, I'm very pleased with your penance. Ask me for what you want." This fellow says, "How do I know it's you? Prove you are God. Prove that you are God. Then I will open my eyes. What are you going to do? What is God going to do?" If God depends on what you think He is, you're in trouble. He is in trouble. God for us is not, I started using the word God now. Okay. Why? Because Ishvara is translated as God. I want to demolish the wrong ideas about God. Okay. Is God a matter for belief or not? Question. Is God a matter for belief, faith, or not? If you think God is a matter for belief, that's not the God I'm talking about. You tell me, this pot had a cause. Is it a matter for belief? Is it a matter for belief? No. The dress I'm wearing had a cause. Is it a matter for belief? No. Anything that comes in time has a cause. Is it a matter for belief? No. Everything that you see is in time. It has a cause. Is it a matter for belief? No. And my dress came from a fabric. That fabric also came in time. Does it have a cause then? Is it a matter for belief? No. It came from threads. Threads also must have a cause because it came in time. Is it a matter for belief? No. Cotton came from earth. Cotton has a cause. Yes, true. Earth also was born. Why? Earth is seen in time and space. Is it a matter for belief? If you are in doubt, ask a physicist. If it's a matter for belief, it should be believable. You cannot believe what is against reason. You cannot believe what is against reason. Correct? So if I tell you there is a God in heaven and He created that world out of nothing, can you believe it? God in heaven created this world out of nothing. How? How? You see this pot. You see this pot. Can this be created out of nothing? If it can be created out of nothing, create it. Try. Try creating a simple pot out of nothing. Why does a potter look for clay? You ask the tailor, "Stitch my clothes. Please stitch my Diwali dress for me." "Sir, give me the fabric." No, you create out of nothing. Create my dress. He will also, if he is smart, he'll say, "Yes, sir, please come, I will give you." He will create the emperor's clothing and give it to you. But can he create a dress without clothes? Okay. Can you make bread without flour? No. These are all mundane things. After all, God is God. God is the one who makes the impossible possible. This is how you get brainwashed. Hey, when you say it's impossible, it cannot be possible, okay? Impossible, if you can make it possible, the word impossible is not impossible anymore. It's gone. No, he has powers. Hey, you show me any one thing which does not have a cause. Show me one thing. One thing in the world. Any one thing. You may not know its cause, but cause it always has. Look in any aspect. Therefore, when I say this, and there's not just one cause, there seems to be a series of causes, a causal chain, a supply chain. Common word now, supply chain. What supply chain? You have to get. Last time I told you rare earths. You have to get the rare earths. Rare earths apparently are not very rare. They are all over the place. That's what you'll see every day in the paper now. They are not rare. Then how come they are so rare? Because the ability to process the rare earths is very rare. And 90% of the production capacity of rare earths is sitting in one country. All right. But now the point is, your EVs are made up of a lot of things, including some magnets. And these magnets have a cause. So EVs have a cause in magnets. Magnets have a cause in rare earths. Rare earths have a cause in processed rare earths. And those rare earths have a cause in ore-like thing, just plain soil which has been, dug up. That has a cause in Prithvi. Prithvi has a cause in sun. You tell me, where does the causal chain end? Where does it end? You have to find something which doesn't have a cause. Unless you find something which has no cause, you cannot say you found a cause. Correct? While you say that the fabric is the cause for my clothing, if I don't have cotton in the country, where will the fabric come from? Therefore, if you have to know any one thing completely, what should you know? You must know its causal chain all the way. Now, what is the cause of earth? I don't know. What is the cause of sun? I don't know. What is the cause of the galaxy in which the sun is one star? I don't know. What is the cause of that? If there's a cause for that. Until when do you go? Until there was a change in time. You call it evolution, it doesn't matter. But what evolves? Something which exists evolves, or something which doesn't exist evolves? If the simple pot requires a creator, what about the fruit, the vegetables, the rice that you eat? Does it have a cause or not? Has to have a cause. No, it just grows. Hey, why rice only should come out from rice grain? Why not it start producing apples? No, apple produce apples. So even whatever a human being creates is only possible because what he has available, which is given to him, behave consistently. It's always consistent. You take a gold, it is malleable. You take copper, it is ductile. It can be drawn into wires. Try doing it with something else. May not work out. Right? You take materials which have copper, the great conductor of electricity. So is aluminum, and they're both ductile. They have certain strength. Aluminum has a certain strength. Iron has certain strength. But cast iron and aluminum, what compares? And if you alloy aluminum with chromium and steel, you get a different alloy, which is stronger, lighter perhaps. Right? Who made it lighter? Who made something stronger? Who gave radioisotopes to uranium? Why does uranium only have these radioisotopes? Why thorium is also having a possibility? Why? Why petroleum is there only in certain places? How was petroleum caused? Don't we try to study that? Which means you study everything to know what was behind it. What was behind it? I'm asking you, when will you reach the end of what is behind everything? And even if you do, all your knowledge depends on the fellow who is doing research. And I'm asking you, what is behind that researching head? What made you think? What's the reason behind that? Why do you think the way you think? Why everybody is not a Newton or an Einstein? Why? No, he was born intelligent. Why was he born intelligent? Why didn't you get born as intelligent as he is? Is there an answer? Most of the world has no answer. But you ask us, we'll say, yes, he has done good karma. We have an answer. Not my answer, Veda's answer. Veda's answer. You had a life before and did good actions, and that outcome, adrishtam, the unseen outcome of reaching out actions, has resulted in this body with a good thinking head. What a privilege. Thinking head. Non-thinking head is no privilege. Right? So you have that. Then when did you do karma? In the previous life. How did you get that body from previous life? How did you get that body from previous life? When was the first life? There is no first life. You have been coming around over and over. What is the proof? Veda. Why should I believe it? Don't believe it. You explain it to me differently. Give me a cause. Give me a cause. Which religion can explain the diversity in the world today? You tell me. Which religion can? Religions are called faiths. Why? Because for them, it's only a matter of belief. They believe in a historic God who was present and walked on earth. Time started when? What is our year right now? 2026. Before 2026 years, there was no earth or what? How can the calendar begin now? Tell me. How can it be so? The man walked on earth. Who created earth? Earth was already there. Then somebody must have created it. No, it has no cause. If you say no cause, I told you, I have nothing to say to you. If you are one who says there is no cause, I have nothing to say to you because you have already concluded that there is nothing more to know. I will say, why are you like you are? There is no cause. Look, the meaning of no cause means that life cannot be lived at all, really. You take a matchstick and you strike it against a matchbox. A flame comes out. Why? Suppose there is no cause. One time you do that, flame will come. Another time it won't come because there's no reason. For no reason, the matchstick lights up sometimes. For no reason, doesn't light up. If you tell what will happen today. For no reason, sometimes my digestive system works. For no reason, it doesn't work. What physician can cure your problem? You say so. Then the physician will say, let me find out what is the reason. No, there is no reason. You think so. If there is no reason, I can't help you. If there is a reason, I can probably try to address the reason so that the effect will be addressed. If there is a malfunction in your kidney, if I address that, you will be okay. If there's a malfunction in your brain, God help you. So the whole point is you try to address the cause. And how can you say there is no cause? So what is the cause for the universe? We say everything in the universe is known by knowledge. Therefore, there must be an intelligent cause whose knowledge is this universe, like your dream world. So if you observed last time's meditation session, this is what it was about. So that you can appreciate what I'm telling you in class in a more quieter setting. So to me, the meditation is an extension of the class. It's not a different series. So that you appreciate what I'm trying to show to you, that your whole dream world is your knowledge. Why can't the waking world also be the knowledge of an all-knowing Ishvara? That extension you can make. That Ishvara. And that is Ishvara. All-knowing is Ishvara. And it cannot be the small-knowing Buddhi. Whatever this Buddhi, even an Einstein's Buddhi is like a firefly if you compare Ishvara's all-knowledge, which is like the sun. Therefore, can there be a comparison between small knowledge and all knowledge? It will be a part-whole relationship, aspect-whole relationship. But the capacity to know is only in a conscious being. A conscious being is one who responds. The conscious being, how do you know? When you talk to me, I respond. The food digests. I breathe. The heart beats. These are all signs of a living conscious being. Correct? But does that mean that there is something in this body which is making it work? It could be. It could be. But could it also be that there is something which, you know, is not physically in the body, but which makes it work? There are so many things unknown, right? People are still trying to discover what is life, and they think life is created. Life could be created. That's a theory. But life could just be manifested too. That's another explanation, right? You have bulbs and bulbs, but they don't glow unless you connect the live electricity to it. Does the bulb glow or does electricity glow? You can say electricity glows when it comes through a bulb. Yeah. Now, the point is this. Which is the bigger thing there? Bulb or electricity? Whether bulb is not there or not, electricity can be there. So if I tell an electrician this bulb doesn't glow, if there's no light, he will check whether it's power. Correct? Now you cannot say just because one bulb is blown, there's no electricity. In the same way, one electricity alone is shining in all the houses. Can you separate electricity from one to another? You can separate the grid in which they flow, the circuit in which they flow, but you cannot tell me there are two electricities. Wherever it is manifest, it's the same electricity. Wherever it's manifest, it's the same magnetic force. Wherever it manifests, it's the same nuclear energy. Can you count many? If you can count many, then we have to examine how you count. So the point is, where is, as I said, the whole thing is all knowledge, and that knowledge must reside in a conscious being because a pot doesn't think. As you know, a conscious being, one who manifests consciousness. Therefore, the commonality between the small knowledge I and all knowledge Ishvara is one conscious being. And that one conscious being, what is that? It is consciousness, which is being. We will understand more of this as we go. This is just an introduction to things, okay? That can express itself as small or large. Like a child thinks, when he's 5 years old and when he's 65 years old, is the person the same or not? Same person. What's different? The amount of knowledge he or she has may be different, but the same person. Does it make the person different? No. Similarly, if there's all knowledge in one conscious being, that is also not different from you and me. It's a conscious being. How much you know does not change consciousness. How big a bulb is there does not change electricity. It can make a 5,000 watt bulb glow or a 0 watt bulb glow. The electricity is the same. What determines how much light you get is what is the resistance in the bulb. There is only one cause for all that is here. That cause is called Ishvara. Jagat Karan. How do you appreciate him? We have to appreciate the presence of Ishvara. Why? Because in the appreciation of Ishvara, you see everything is as it should be. That's very important. That's called order, predictability. And therefore, how does Bhagavan say? How do you appreciate him? First, you accept there is a cause, Asti Ishvaraha. You start there. I'm an agnostic. I'm an atheist. You believe that there is bread because of flour or not, yes, then you become a theist, okay? Don't say you're an atheist because I'm only talking of a cause being inhering in every effect. There cannot be an effect without a cause. There cannot be an effect. There cannot be a pot without clay. There cannot be a fabric without cotton, for cotton fabric. There cannot be anything without its cause. What you call a thing is only a modified form of what it was before. And what it was before in time is called a cause. Therefore, you cannot say I'm an atheist. I am talking of a God I don't want you to believe in. I want you to know. That's the difference. We're not talking about belief. If you believe in God, I can demolish that belief. Whatever belief you have can be demolished. Knowledge cannot be demolished. It can be refined and made even clear, but knowledge cannot be totally negated. Error can be negated. Knowledge cannot. What is knowledge? Seeing a thing as it is. Therefore, Ishvara, if Ishvara is all that is here, any one thing you see cannot be Ishvara. Whether you see the biggest Shivalinga or you see a small Vigraha in your home, neither of them is Ishvara by itself. But if everything is Ishvara, I can invoke Ishvara in any one thing. If I want to get your attention, do I have to come and give you a body massage? Can I just touch your little finger? Can I pull one strand of your hair? Can I just do this if your eyes are open? Which one doesn't get me your attention? Is there only one way to get your attention? No. If all this is Ishvara, then in any part of the universe, wherever it is, I can invoke the presence that is Ishvara, because everything is Ishvara. That is our culture. That whatever you see is worship worthy, because it is Ishvara. Before you start building a house, you do what? Bhumi Pujana. Why do you worship earth? A non-living thing? Pagan worship? No. It is Ishvara. That's called enlightened living. Not non-thinking living. Not believing that there's one fellow sitting up in heaven. He's a man and he's formless. You can see how ridiculous it is. He's a man. God is a man and he's formless. How? How formless is a man in a woman? Tell me. Don't ask questions. That's blasphemy. You can see that when you cannot answer a question, you label it as blasphemy. Because there are areas which you cannot answer. Don't ask questions. Who asks questions? Not God. That is Satan. Are there two forces, Satan and God? Yes, there are two forces. Who is stronger? If God is stronger, he'll take care of Satan. No, Satan is stronger. Then we know where God stands. Poor guy. If Satan decides, God can't do anything. That kind of God is not worth believing in, okay? See, it's important to recognize there is a reality. But if it is based on flawed belief, unfortunately, you throw the baby with the bathwater. That's why people become atheists. But we are not talking of that. We are saying, you worship in your altar, you have a little Ganesha and you say, Ganesha, make me happy. He's able to do that. Why? Because that Ganesha is only an altar in which you invoke the all-pervading Ishvara. You have the privilege to invoke the total in any aspect of the total. So the first step is to say, Asti Ishvara. There is Ishvara. Okay? Now, how do you know there is only one cause for the whole world, not many causes? That is Veda Pramana. That is Pramana is Veda. But you know what? So that's a belief then. Yeah, it is until you understand finally that one cause is not other than you. And if you understand that, it cannot be a belief anymore because you are not a matter for belief. Are you there or not? I think I believe I'm there. Do you believe or you know you're there? Anything in the world you can say, I don't know. Can you say, I am there? Are you there? I'm not sure. Let me ask my wife. Will you say that? Will any idiot say that? I'm not asking you. Do you know maths? I may have forgotten. Are you there? Do you exist? I believe so. Then this is not your class for you, okay? If you're a believer of that kind, this Vedanta will not do anything for you. But if you're a thinking person, you cannot say, I believe I am there. You know you're there. Everything else you think is there. We will demolish. What do you think? Is it real or unreal? What is real is that which can never be denied. What is unreal, which never really can have an existence. It already exists as a borrowed existence. Does my t-shirt exist? It seems to, but where does existence belong? Belongs to fabric. Does fabric really exist? Its existence belongs to what? To threads. Do threads really exist? Its existence belongs to what? To cotton. Does cotton really exist? You go all the way. Where will existence belong? All the way it's borrowed existence. What is the real source of existence? Cause of all causes. One. Ishvara. And if that is what Ishvara is, and if I know that Ishvara, it cannot be known as an object, it must include the subject and object. That knowledge of knowing that unity of subject and object as non-different from me is what we say is freedom from all sense of lack. This is the journey. But in order to get there, first, I'm trying to make you see Asti Ishvara. You should see clearly, it's not a matter for belief. There has to be Ishvara. Kim tad Ishvara? What is that Ishvara? That is a matter to be studied and understood. Why studied? Because it's not available for perception and inference. Because it is not one more thing. Therefore, Veda becomes a pramanam. Okay? We will explore a little more of Ishvara as we go. Because I feel unless we have this background, we won't understand why should we come to a class for any reason. What is the purpose of Vedanta? What is Veda? What is Vedanta? We don't have a clarity. Then it doesn't lead us anywhere. The more clarity I have about what is it that I'm seeking in life, that what I am seeking to be comfortable, to be happy, to be fulfilled is impossible in its entirety unless I understand what I really am. It's not that I'm miserable, I'm unhappy. I think I'm unhappy. Then the solution can only be recognizing that I am not subject to unhappiness. And that solution is what Vedanta has to give. That is what is subject matter of Viveka Chudamani. But before we enter, we should understand what are the things we look for. Why what we go after in general is not enough to solve the problem fundamentally. You know, then alone I will have a value for something different. There are people who will say, Swami, I am not unhappy. I am happy in my life. Everything is wonderful. I have a good family. I have good life. Why I should come to your class? Please don't come because you are happy with your life. Be there. But one day you may wake up and say, "Hey, there is something more." No. So one may wake up, one may not wake up. It is possible to live this life and go without understanding Ishvara. Ishvara is kind enough to let that possibility also happen. Nothing is lost. In one way, nothing is lost. In another sense, everything is lost. Because you had the potential to know everything totally, and what you ended up is just living a mundane life. So, what we want, see, it should not be a matter of saying curiosity alone will not help you here. This has to be a committed pursuit of reality. This is like science. If you're committed to this, then you can't stop till you reach your understanding. That is the way the study is. That you study until it gives you total freedom. Study is not know something else. It's like looking at your mirror to see your own face. The Vedanta is a mirror that shows you who you really are and not who you think you are. That's how it works. Okay? But I just keep dropping things in the end of the class so I can build up next time. Okay? So we will come back and look at it when we meet again. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. If there are any questions, I will take them. Okay. Oh, I see something showing up here. Okay. Who's the questioner? I see something on chat. If the questioner is there, you can ask your question directly. Let me see. All right. Veda, the Pramanam, is necessary to discriminate between Atma and Anatma, which are closely mixed up and therefore often confused. In the beginning, when I do not have a direct experience of Ishvara, that is when I lack Anubhuti, we use Yukti or inference to derive the presence of Ishvara with the help of the Veda as Pramanam. Therefore, should we consider that the Veda as a Pramanam has to be believed at least initially? Yeah. Look, Veda is a Pramanam. To believe what the Veda says is called Shraddha. That Veda is a Pramanam you have to believe to start with, correct? Because otherwise you don't have a starting point. All right? That Veda is a Pramana. Who tells you? People in your own older people in the culture tell you that. It's a Pramana. Because to study the Veda and to know it's a Pramana, you will first have to start with the Veda. So somebody has to inform you of the Veda. So this is a culture. Swadhyayo adhyetavya. You have to study your own Veda Shakha. Why? Because it has everything you need to know for life. Therefore, in the beginning, it has to be taken as Pramanam. But the first part of the question saying, I don't have a direct experience of Ishvara, this is something that we will have to look into because I will tell you one statement. There is no special Ishvara experience. Every experience is Ishvara. Okay? Every experience is Ishvara because all that is here is Ishvara. Therefore, that you think you have no Ishvara experience is because you don't know what is Ishvara. Therefore, you will never have an Ishvara experience. You will understand every experience is Ishvara. Okay? So that's a subtle remark there in part of your question. All right? Then the second part is, and what is, I guess, Shraddha, Sharada, which is also something closer to belief supported by some Pramana. Okay. Next question is, what is Shraddha? Vivek Chudamani itself will talk about Shraddha. Okay. What is Shraddha? Shraddha is a belief pending confirmation. Understand it like that. Shraddha is a belief pending confirmation. Certain things will remain as beliefs forever. They are non-verifiable beliefs in this lifetime. So if I say there is a heaven, it is a non-verifiable belief. Whether it's there or not, you won't know. And if you go, when will you go there? When you have dropped this body. Therefore, who will verify whether it's there or not? And when you come back here, you don't know that you had another body. We don't normally remember our past lives, etc. Therefore, most of what Veda has to say is in the realm of what is called as adrishtam, which means it will remain a non-verifiable belief. But as you see, suppose it says you do this particular ritual and you will get this outcome. You do and you get it, but you cannot still see a direct connection between the ritual and the outcome. You cannot correlate it. Therefore, you can always say, you know what, it just is a fortuitous happening. It happened like that. You can say that. You can never prove that punya produced some good life for you. You cannot prove it. Therefore, it becomes a matter of shraddha alone. But you know what? When I tell you, you are Ishvara, I am not talking of something unknown to you. I'm talking about you. Therefore, there it will cannot be a matter of shraddha. It will be a matter of immediate knowledge. It's called aparokshanubhuti. And that knowledge, if you can have, that in a way becomes the basis to see that the whole Veda is a pramanam, it is a means of knowledge, because what it taught me is the reality which can never ever be negated. Okay? That's the answer to the question. If there's a further follow-up on that, you're welcome to ask. I prefer being asked directly, unless you want to frame your question very carefully. I appreciate that too. Yes, Monica.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Monica, please unmute and ask.
Namaste, Swamiji. So my question is, like, we are saying that Ishvara is the cause of everything. Okay, I get it. But my question further is, why should Ishvara create this world? Sometimes when we go through sufferings, we feel, okay, Ishvara is the cause of everything. But we also question, why did everything start in the first place? So
Good. Now I'll ask you. If you are separate from Ishvara, the question is valid. Okay? If all that is here is Ishvara, who is asking the question? See, the question of why he created is already coming with a conclusion that there is an Ishvara other than me. I am the ruled over, there is a ruler. Correct? I am helpless, there is a fellow who makes me dance like a puppet. Why does he make me dance? That's the question. And I'm saying, until you understand, you feel you have to dance. If you understand, you are the dancer.
okay.
So this question is valid if I accept Ishvara being an absolutely different person than you, another entity. While each body is a different entity separated by space, Ishvara, as we understand later, you will see, is the truth. When I say is the cause of everything, it is even the cause of space and time. Okay? When I say it's the cause of even space and time, which means everything in space and time is also nothing but Ishvara. Like every ornament is nothing but gold. Now, if you count ornaments, you can count one earring, two earrings, one necklace. If you count gold, how many will you count? Just one. Gold says, necklace says, why did God make me to suffer being on the neck all the time? I want to be on the person's wrist. Let's say, hypothetically. What would I tell and you ask the bangle, how do you feel being on the wrist? It says, you know what? Being a bangle. You know why I'm called a bangle? Because I get banged around all the time. Who wants to be on the wrist? I wish I were on the neck. That's what the bangle will tell you. Right? Now the bangle wants to become a chain wants to become a bangle. And I tell them both what? Hey, you know what? You're gold. Whether you get banged or you stay on the neck, you remain the same. You don't change at all. And suddenly the bangle doesn't want to become a chain anymore, and the chain doesn't want to become a bangle. It thought, and it said, why did God create me as a bangle? It never created you. It's still the same. If it created, separated you from it, it's different matter. But gold remains gold. It is not that gold became a bangle. Gold remains gold. Being gold, it's a bangle. Being Ishvara, you are a human being. If you understand that, then your question will not arise. Until you understand that, the question is natural. Yes, Kavya.
Swamiji, my question is, or rather like something that I've been trying to understand. So we say that suffering, what we experience, is somewhere based on our,
What did you suffering? Okay, yeah, okay. Suffering you said, right?
yes, suffering.
Okay, huh.
It's the suffering that we experience is individual, and sometimes it's also mass, like when we look at wars in the world.
Mhm,
But it's still how much suffering it invokes within me is based on my raga dvesha. Like, for example, if
mhm,
there is a war happening and there's children suffering from poverty, like I might feel more suffering and the other person might not, depending on
mhm.
like how conditioned. So, raga dvesha is nothing but our conditioning towards things, our experiences. So
Okay,
if we negate that, if we reach a state where we are not driven by a raga dvesha,
yeah.
can we really just objectify things which are immoral or just does not seem right? Like, can there ever be a state like that?
No, no. See, look, what you're talking now is if one understands, can you justify everything? Am I right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Look, in the relative world, when I say relative world means when I'm playing a role as a human being, I have mind, you have mind, and the mind's way the mind feels will depend upon how you look at things. True. All right. Pain can happen to anybody because the pain is not you really, the pain is in the mind, and the mind is governed by the psychological order. So any mind is subject to pain, right? The pain may happen when somebody connected to you is suffering more. It will be. And if somebody unconnected, it may not be affected so badly, right? Now the question is, what will happen if you appreciate Ishvara more? You understand there is a cause for that suffering too. Why is it that the war is in a particular place in the world? Why is it that certain people are affected? One missile is fired and 10 people die. Why those 10? Why not some other 10? There's no answer, right? Empathy is a normal human response. What I feel, I can feel the pain of my fellow human being. Natural response. That will be there. It will never go away. But it won't haunt you because you understand that there is a reason for it. We're not justifying it, but we're saying, look, if you look at any of these big situations like Gaza or Kashmir, etc., wherever you look, you find that if you try to find out who is the first one to blame, you will never get an answer. Because everybody will say the first other one is the cause. You keep going back historically, it will never end. So in the cause effect chain, you will never find an end to it. But the fact is, when we say everything is Ishvara, we are not justifying violence. We are not saying you can gloss over it. What we are saying is this, that too has a cause. And despite the suffering in the world, despite your own physical body being under suffering, you can say, I'm fine. That is what is freedom. That despite a mind which is complaining, despite a mind which is in pain, one can say, I am okay. I am okay despite a mind which is in pain is freedom. To have a mind which is subject to pain and still be okay is freedom. You're not pulled down by your mind. Pain will be there. To the extent, to some extent, it will be there. But a person who lives that, who will only talk about that to everybody, let us say, so everyone comes, you tell, oh, what, there's pain, there is this, there is that. Then what will happen? Then you will keep reliving the pain. You will never get out of it. Okay? I'm not asking you to forget it, but you relive it normally. Suppose your mind goes to something else, your mind is away from it. When it comes back, it will pain again. But suppose you're able to say, well, there is pain. How will the pain go? I can act upon it. I make a prayer. I do what I can to reduce the suffering of people. That's all I can do. You do that and your pain goes. But it is not something which you can justify or gloss over. Is that clear? Did I answer your question?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Any other question? Yes, Monica.
Swamiji, for the question that I asked, so you said, because I see myself separate from Ishvara, I'm asking that question, right? Like,
Correct.
Okay, leave me, but what is the cost for the creator to create everything? Can we ask that question? No, no.
Okay, I'll
What do
answer that
Vedas?
question too.
No, I'm asking the question, but what do Vedas say? Like, why did creator feel the need to create?
Okay, you know what? Even if you study the Upanishad, this question will be asked. Okay? Mandukya Karika talks about this. And it says, what is this creation about? Prana iti pranavidaha. There are so many theories given for creation, cosmology. But you know what? Finally, it'll say, apta kamasya kaspriha. Means for a person who is fulfilled, there is no reason for the creation, okay? You are again talking. See, now you're saying, Swamiji, no, I will not ask. I'm saying now, what, forget me. Why the creation? Who is the person who is seeing a creation other than Ishvara? Who is seeing it? If you are seeing it only, then you can ask. You're again back to square one. You didn't move away honestly. You just rephrased your question. But the fact is, without you seeing a creation, you cannot ask me a question about it. Can you?
And I understand that. Maybe I'm not grasping it well, but
No,
my
no, no.
question was more
No, no,
like,
you know what? No, no. Look, please understand. Until you see there is no other reality except one, your question will remain. It cannot go away. You're only hearing my answer. You're not understanding it. You cannot understand. If you did, then Vedanta is over. Okay? That's what it is. If you can understand it right now, you know what you will say? You will say, all that is here is one reality, and that is me. Are you able to say that? Then there is no more a second thing. That is called non-duality, Advaitam. But that is not something which is to be believed. It is not something which is just said, yeah, okay, I agree, it's one. You cannot say that. When you're thinking, and in your thinking you are a separate individual, I will ask you, where is your boundary? What you call I, where is your boundary? Obviously, it is this body, is it not? Is it not the body which is the boundary for what you call you? When you say creation, I will ask you, what is creation? I just have to go one more question. What is the creation you're talking about? Does it include your body or does it not include your body? It does include your body. If it does, do you see part of yourself as you as a part of creation, or do you see you separate from the creation? You cannot say I'm part of the creation even. It won't work. You will just say to satisfy me perhaps, but it won't work. For you internally, it won't work. Because you do stand out as an individual with your own body and mind, don't you? That little I is screaming. It will scream. But what is really screaming is the mind, with which you're totally identified. The mind is you. cannot be questioned. The body is you, cannot be questioned. But you are not just that body and the mind. That is something I have to understand. If I understand that, then what is that I? Is that I which is not known as an object of a thought. I said one thing. Anything you talk about in the world is what comes to you through a thought. Did you come first or did your thought come first? Tell me, what came first? Did both come together? If both came together, you cannot say a thought came. You were there before your thought arose. You are there after the thought subsided. Every thought, who are you? Who are you? Space by which you separate two things is thought, a matter of thought. Time separation, time is a matter of thought. If space and time were not a matter of thought, in deep sleep there should be space and time. Therefore, if you understand what I'm trying to tell you, that whatever goes cannot be you, you first tell me who you are. Then I will tell you about the creation. You will find that you cannot describe yourself because everything that can describe is in terms of attributes. Suppose you say, I'm a lady with, shoulder length hair. That's because you see shoulder length hair with your eyes. You see yourself as a lady based on the anatomy. Suppose you don't have eyes. How will you describe yourself? Swami, I have a sense of touch. I can still measure my hair. Fair enough. Suppose you lost your sense of touch. Suppose you lost your mind. Who are you? Are you still there or not? You're very much there. Who is that you who's lost the mind? I don't know. You need to know. How will I know what cannot be enveloped in a thought? You cannot know it by your reasoning. Then what is it? Veda tells you that everything is one reality. And that one reality is not available to be enveloped in a thought. But it is, and that is you. You're struggling to find who you are. And the Veda points out and tells that is who you are. Now, you have become Ishvara. Now I will ask you, why did you create this world? What will you say? I didn't create the world. Okay? Think about it. I'm sure it may not be satisfactory yet because the mind has given so much solidity to itself and the world. Is the world real or not? Is this pot real or not? You tell me. Is this real or not?
Yeah. So
if it is, I will ask you, if it is real, what is the reality of clay? Are there two real things here? Or is there one real thing?
So it's more like it's a unified thing. It's more like it's a unified thing. It's only because I don't realize that I see it as separate, and I'm asking the question like, why did the creation come, and why am I seeing it?
Correct. And if it is a thing, you will still stand apart from everything else. When you understand that there is no thing, it is you, then alone the question can go. Until you are separate from the world, you will still ask, why this world? Why this sorrow? Why I have to come to Vedanta? Why anything? Why? And the answer is what? Until you feel that way, there is no choice. You have to do it. But is there a solution to the problem? Yes, there is. What is that solution? And know that it is all an appearance. You alone are the reality. This is going too far. Okay, this is the ultimate understanding Vedanta gives you. But I am dwelling on Ishvara for another reason now. Even if you're not able to solve the fundamental problem, if you're able to see everything is in order, everything is exactly as it should be, you will find half the problems in the world become very manageable. The victim feeling will go. You see things as part of the order. It's not me. Anybody with my kind of mind would feel exactly the same way in this situation. It's a big relief to see that I am not to blame for the way I feel. That's what a paid psychoanalyst does for you. He sits with you and lets you talk and keeps validating you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's exactly how you would feel. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you'll pay 1,000 rupees for every hour you spend with him. That's exactly what they do. How do they validate you? Because they say that is science and you're happy. Veda said go one step further. Even the psychoanalyst may not be entirely right. At some point, even his guard railings will come. He will not validate you. Suppose you say, why are you dating me? He'll suddenly get afraid. He'll say, no, no, I didn't do that. He won't say, yeah, yeah, that's exactly how you would feel. He won't say that then. Why? He'll be in trouble. Therefore, he also cannot validate us completely, but he can validate us to a large extent. So far, it doesn't get too personal with him. Right?
Yeah.
Therefore, the extent you feel validated, you no longer feel you are to blame for what's going on. That is an unloading, a massive unloading. And Puja Swamiji would always say that there is no better therapist than Ishvara. Because whatever you are, he will say, you are exactly as I expect you to be. Okay? So that's the first step. We cannot bypass Ishvara. We have to first see that everything is in order. It is my subjectivity, my demand that something should be different makes me question the Srishti. Why the Srishti is like this? Why should it not be like this? Suppose you put milk to boil on the gas, right? And you put the gas on high because you want to leave for work and you want to make sure milk is boiled, but you forgot about it. You come back 8 hours later, what do you find? A kitchen which is messed up and a vessel which is unrecognizable. Why? What's the answer for that? Fire didn't know any better. That's order. Fire's job is to burn. It burned and it did what it could. And when too much milk spilled over, it burned down, it wet the gas and it switched off. Now the whole room is smelling of gas. If you put a lighter on, you will be on fire. Order. You see what order means? It follows laws. It doesn't depend on my mind or yours. But the mind itself follows an order. Therefore, your question I fully appreciate. I'm not trying to dodge it. But all I'm saying to you, I can give you one answer. One is, God created as per your karma. That's an answer also. In keeping with your karma, your world gets created for you. See, it's the same world, but you will feel pain, I'll feel okay. Why? That's how you are. Why are you feeling like that? Because of your background. Why is your background like that? Because of your karma. Therefore, I can put karma in between. I didn't. Why? Because I wanted to you. Really, there is nothing to blame. At a level, your karma is to blame. At a level. That's karma is not an absolute reality either. It's only a stopgap to explain what is. See, although the world is only one reality, there are layers of reality, if I may say that. So the pot indeed depends on clay. The clay indeed depends on something else. There is a causal chain. You cannot short circuit that. If you want a piece of fabric from cotton, you cannot short circuit it. You have to go from cotton to thread, thread to yarn, yarn to fabric, fabric to cloth. Correct? You can't short circuit that. Still, it does not in any way negate the fact that cotton alone is the reality of all that you wear. So, At each level, there is some resolution. And to understand whatever we see in life has a reason is a good thing to know. It has a reason. I may not know why. Then I don't feel, why am I a victim? There is a reason for it. And many a time I'm a victim because I choose to look upon myself as a victim. Okay.
Thank you very much, Swamiji. It answers the question. Yeah.
Good. Any other questions?
Swamiji, there's a question on the chat by Kavya
Okay.
Jain, which reads, what are some of the signs of progress on this path?
Okay. What are the signs of progress? You know, progress, if there is only one reality, in one way, I can say there is no progress. In one way, okay? Because right now there is only one reality, and even if you understand everything, there'll be only one reality. All right? But then, so progress in terms of appreciating non-duality, there are no progress really in that sense. But a relative self-acceptance is progress. A relative ability to accept the world as it is and act freely is progress. You know, that you're able to accept your own body, your mind as it is progress. Today you say, why this body? Why am I a woman? Why am I not a man? So much freedom is curtailed because I'm a woman. That's how you feel. That feeling goes. Okay. Then you say, why am I stuck with this education and I don't have a job and I'm only a yoga teacher, I can't do anything more? Suppose that's your profession. Then the answer is, you know, look, there are reasons why you are where you are. Ishvara, you bring in Ishvara there and you understand this is how it had to be. But you can change. You can decide to do something more and try. Maybe you will become something else. Maybe you won't remain where you are. Possibility. You find a better job, perhaps. So basically an ability to see things in life and say, okay, this is the situation I am in. All right, now what can I do about it? This is called an objective way of living. But normally, how do we live? It's a knee-jerk reaction. Oh no, why did this happen? Already, why did this happen means you're questioning why it is so. Means there is no Ishvara. I know what it should be, and why is it not so? Seeing more and Ishvara. What is progress? More Ishvara, less you is progress. Okay? You see more and more of Ishvara and reduce what you call as you, less and less it becomes. And the answer, finally, what is total progress? There is only Ishvara. There is no small you. That Ishvara is you. That is full progress. Okay? Yes, Swati.
Pranam Swamiji.
Ram?
Swamiji, this concept of appreciating the world as it is and
Yeah.
having the will to change has come up a couple of times, but they seem conflicting a little bit. Like when you appreciate the world as it is, why would I want to change?
Okay, fair enough. Look, when I say I accept the world as it is, it doesn't mean that I think it should be the way it is. Okay? I accept means I don't resist the situation. Okay? For some reason, your face is all darkened up. Your light probably on the other side. I don't know.
Yeah, 1 minute.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. So,
It
yeah,
was very
thank you.
far.
That's okay. Fine. So the point is, suppose now you find somebody suffering. Okay? A child is suffering. All right? Now, one is you accept he's suffering and don't do anything about it. Okay? Another one is you don't accept. So why is he suffering? Why is he suffering? You don't do anything about it. Third is, you say he's suffering. Instead of saying why and resist and fight it, you say, okay, in my perception, he's suffering. How can I reduce his suffering? Can I do something about it? Yeah, I think I can buy him some fruit and give him. He's suffering by hunger. Give it to him. You're not resisting what is, but you're doing what you think you can. You're not saying what is perfect in the sense whatever that boy is suffering right now is perfect. It had to be that way. But that you can help him is also a possibility. So there's no conflict in that sense. You always have the freedom to act. And the freedom to act generally is curtailed and many times denied because busy fighting. Why is it so? You spend more time resisting a situation than acting upon it. So the acceptance is that you don't resist. See, so many times it happens. Now, when I read the news, I say, why is the world the way it is today? Why so much conflicts everywhere? Why doesn't human beings stop fighting? It's not going to change anything. Then you read another paper. Some lady abused. Why is it like this? I can't do anything. Right? And when I can't do anything and I resist something, it will give me stress. You sit down to meditate, the whole world which you resist will come in front of you. Guaranteed. It will come. And what will you meditate on? On all these things. So how do you free yourself from being preoccupied? Your preoccupation will only go when you're able to say, all right, there is a reason. I don't understand, but there is a reason why it is like this. Can I do something about it to make it better? Go ahead. That's also part of Ishvara's order, that you have a will to change things, bring about some changes. But you cannot change everything. You can try. You want to make that boy better. You gave him some money. Next minute you see somebody comes, picks up the money from him and goes away. Now you understand he is a forced beggar. He's not a beggar. It's a ring. It's an extortion ring. You won't give money to the adult. Therefore, they have put children there, broken their legs. Now you will say, if I pay the child, I'm going to encourage one more child's leg to be broken. Will you pay him? You may not. This is the kind of choice we face sometimes. But all I'm saying is, acceptance means you're free to act. Resistance means many a time you don't act, you keep resisting. And it takes your time and mental energy away. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
And that's a very important thing to recognize, that acceptance does not mean inaction. Acceptance is just freeing you from resistance and fighting what you cannot change. What you cannot change is right now the child is suffering. You can't change that. Next minute when you gave him a banana, he's better off. It's the next minute. At this instant when you see he's suffering, that suffering is a fact. You can't change it. That's all we mean by acceptance. You accept means you're free to act. When you don't accept, your freedom to act is curtailed. Because the energy goes in fighting what you cannot change. Okay.
Okay.
Anything else? Anybody?
I have one more question, Swamiji.
Sure, go ahead.
So since there is only one reality, why are human beings not programmed to live like that, and we have to like spend lifetimes to understand or even discover that reality?
Okay. Why is gold shining? Why are leaves green? Why does water flow? What answers do you have? Why is a banana the way it is? Why is a mango the way it is? What answers do you have? Again, the reason is the same. You see yourself as a human being. Not untrue. You are a human being, but you are not just a human being. You are not seeing beyond that. You say you're a human being. You tell me, how do you know you're a human being? Because you see, I have a human form. Where did you see your form? You saw it. In sleep, are you a human being? What are you? In sleep. Are you a human being? Can you tell me what you were in sleep? We don't know. When you wake up, you know I was asleep. But what were you in sleep? Was the problems of the human being there? Were the problems of mother there? Were any problems there? Were any joys there? What was there? You were there. Was anything else there? If you were in sleep and there was nothing else there, then that is also you. So what is really you? That's the question. Who are you really? You take yourself to a human being and then say, Swamiji, why human beings should suffer? Hey, you are Ishvara. Where is the question of your suffering? Then why did Ishvara create all this? He is in this form. Fire is hot. Fire is not unhappy being hot. Sugar is not unhappy being sweet. Why is a human being unhappy being himself? That's because you have a mind which allows you to be judging yourself. It's a capacity. It's a Shakti, Ichha Shakti. But when that capacity prevents you from being comfortable, it becomes a noose. Ichha Shakti is converted to Raga and Dvesha. Compelling wants, compelling likes, compelling dislikes. Therefore, the identification that I'm a human being is not that you made it. This is how you're born. We are all born with that identification. Otherwise, we are not born. We are always born with some self-identification. And the Shastra, you will see, Vivek Pradhamana will begin with this. Manushyatvam. A human being it will begin with. What's the human being's special situation? That is the situation wherein a dog is happy being a dog. A pig is being happy being a pig. The creatures you pity in the world are happy being themselves. Not humans, okay? Others. But a human being is unhappy with everything. Why? Is it the problem in the creation or the problem in the design? Poor design. This human being design is poor. That's the question. And I'm saying Ishvara is all knowledge. Therefore, there cannot be an error. No bugs. Which means human being is deliberate design. But what kind of a design? A design that allows you to recognize I am not separate from the whole. It works both ways. Swamiji, why are we not programmed to be happy? Then there'll be no fun in life. I'm just giving an answer, okay? But the fact is, we are not programmed. We have freedom. We can do, you may not do, you may do something differently. This is called freedom. Free will is the will to do what you like. And you know what's the biggest freedom? To not use your free will. If you don't want to have to use your free will, you're really free. Because you don't need anything to be different. How will I not want anything different? Because everything is okay. How will everything be okay, Swamiji? Until you say so, it won't be okay. When will it be okay? When you see everything is indeed. Why will it be okay? Because you don't see anything except an appearance. You go to a movie, and in the movie you have all the suffering. Now, suppose you're a very emotional person who identifies with the roles in the movie, you will come back with a bucket of tears. Okay? But suppose you're a person who is an art aficionado, who appreciates the beautiful art acting of Smita Patil and, Om Puri or whatever. Then what do? You will watch the movie and say, what a performance. What a wonderful performance. Correct? When you don't identify with those roles in the movie, you appreciate the elegance with which they can bring out the empathy. It does not become a problem. Same way, if you could see your whole life as a drama unfolding and you stand apart, then life would be okay. Right? We're not trying to make people insensitive to things around them. In fact, the first step to growth is to be sensitive. but not sensitive to collapse, but sensitive to act. Not sensitive to cry and feel suppressed, but sensitive enough to act and make changes that you can. And that requires an acceptance that there is a given situation which is in order, and that situation can be changed to some extent by my effort. That possibility is also given by Ishvara. Therefore, once you act, you are freed from that sense, that burden that I can't do anything. And if you decided your life's goal is to uplift the downtrodden people, that life goal will never get fulfilled because there'll always be people who are downtrodden. Therefore, to understand the goal of life, that what I'm really seeking, even when I empathize and want the world to be a better place, what I'm really seeking is a freedom from feeling small and miserable inside. That resistance to my own feelings is my problem. The world is not the problem. My non-acceptance of the world is the problem. The world is not acceptable because I see it as imperfect. And my statement that all knowledge is Ishvara, therefore it's perfect, is trying to hit exactly there. That if you understand Ishvara, you cannot say it's an imperfect world. Is a quake imperfect? Is a flood imperfect? Is a cyclone imperfect? What is imperfect? There was a great ice age. All the dinosaurs died. Was it imperfect? If the dinosaurs were alive, maybe you and I wouldn't be here today. So all I'm saying is everything has a larger purpose. If you can look at the larger scheme, you will think all these things are small events. But if you miss the large picture, you don't know what it is. But who can see the larger picture? That is what Veda is about. It's giving you a larger picture and tells you, you know what, this is all just a drama going on. The larger picture is there's only one reality, and to know that reality is freedom. And to get there, though, you have to be a sensitive person. You have to live a life of non-hurting. You have to live a life of real caring. All this is necessary. But the goal is not to continue to identify with what I am, because this is not the reality. The goal is to know the reality, and in knowing the reality, there is freedom from a sense of lack. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. I think we will stop now unless there is any one last question. I'll still take it, but not for more than another 5 minutes. All right. Done? Good. So I'll see you next week then. Thank you all. And people sometimes send me requests for access to meditation or how do I get, I will again repeat once. There is a Google page that people have to sign up to. And anybody who wants the access to these recordings or any further documents, etc., you put there, you join the Google group. How to join the Google group is on the sign up page where you signed up for this class. And from there you can join the group. And once you join, you will have access. I may not respond to individual requests going forward, because I don't want to respond to every mail telling them what they should do. I expect people to do that much. Okay. Thank you all. And happy Diwali.
Thank you. Happy
Thank you,
Diwali,
Swamiji.
It's
everybody.
about the light driving away darkness. Light is knowledge, darkness is trouble. Okay. Ignorance is darkness. That's what Diwali is about. So what we had is real fireworks. Okay. Oh.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Thank you so much.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Swamiji.